So the news of the moment is Antonio Pierce is out as a head coach in Las Vegas. Remember, he was the interim head coach going back a year and a half ago. The guys liked him. They hired him. They then later hired Tom Telesco as the GM. And Tom Telesco was told when he got the job that he had to keep him for the year. And I don't think Telesco was out in any way to get him. It's just hard when the coach is hired before the GM, and the coach is a guy who's, again, I can speak to this, inexperienced. You got to surround yourself with really, really experienced people and have a vision for how it's going to look, what the progress is going to look like. And pro sports is no joke, especially the Raiders. And I don't think he was out, he didn't have a quarterback. Makes it a really hard job, when your answer is a guy who's been a perennial backup that everybody likes, and an Aiden O'Connell who had some talent but drafted by a previous regime, and anytime he played poorly he's just a rookie. I don't know. The thing is, you didn't have a quarterback in that division. You probably didn't have a chance going against some ridiculous quarterbacks and ridiculous coaches. We also do this thing, just so you're aware. We make it about your division. And I said this when we had Middlecoff on last hour. It's so not about your division as much as it's about who you go against. Right, remember, you play 6 games in your division, but you play 8 games out of division against, and in the case of the NFC North, they played the NFC West and the AFC South. Those are the 2 best divisions to play this year. But similarly, the Chargers and the Broncos and the Chiefs all made the playoffs, and they played relatively, Chiefs obviously most difficult schedule, first place schedule. You play a schedule based upon, in your non-divisional matchups and your non-crossover matchups, you play if you're a third place team from another division as well. I don't know. I'm not crazy stunned. Didn't feel like he was the long-term answer, but anyone who says that Antonio Pierce will never be a head coach again, there was a lot of Dan Campbell to Antonio Pierce. Remember, Dan Campbell got the job as the interim coach of the Dolphins. Dan Campbell was a tight end in the NFL, and it might have been when Tony Sparano was let go. I think it was Dan. What was the name of the? He was the offensive coordinator of the Packers, and then he went to the Dolphins as their head coach.
Joe Philbin?
Yes. Was that when Dan Campbell got the job, or was it Sparano got fired and he got the job? Can't remember.
Gosh, I can't remember.
Point is, it's okay, neither can I. The point is that Dan Campbell got the job as interim, and a lot of people liked him. He didn't get it. Circle back around, then he got the job with the Lions years later, and obviously he's been amazing with the Lions.
In 2015, Dan Campbell was the interim head coach. He replaced Philbin. They then hired Matt Gase.
Adam Gase.
Yeah, I know, Matt, but his brother Matt was a big part of that hire.
So, again, Antonio Pierce has a guy, people like him. He's got a realness to him. So there's that with the Dan Campbell. But didn't have a quarterback. Probably didn't have really a chance. Brock Bowers has turned out to be an excellent rookie, but they have a lot of, when you jettison your big name wide receiver mid-year, that thing was over. So, I don't know. The Raiders are a fascinating story because they've never had cash when they were in Oakland. Once they moved to Vegas, I don't know if they're flush with cash, but they have a lot. The business is much better for Mark Davis and the Raiders. So they do have the money to make it happen, but they haven't been able to find the right fix.
Let me ask you guys this question. Okay. Yesterday, I think we said that it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that Mike Vrabel will be the next head coach of the Patriots. They have to go through the process, minority interview, all that. Doesn't this put pressure on the Patriots to secure Vrabel's desire? Because Tom Brady is going to be in Vrabel's ear, right, for this?
One would think. But again, I don't know. I saw Diana Rossini's report that Tom Brady will have a big say in the matter. But again, why? Why? Can they get Vrabel? Yeah, that'd be great. If they can get Vrabel, absolutely go after him. I don't know how far along they are with the Patriots, but I would guess that the Raiders would be really into it. Again, part of it is that GMs like to hire people they've worked with before, and there's a familiarity there. And the last time they had anybody Patriots in Las Vegas, it didn't work out well. Doesn't mean Telesco wouldn't do that. Doesn't mean that Mark Davis wouldn't do that. But just we have to be realistic about, okay, who does it fit with?
This is the other part of why Vrabel is so intriguing, is because I don't think that there are going to be many Belichick disciples getting jobs anymore. I think that Gerard Mayo is going to have to go and be a defensive coordinator somewhere and end up, again, trying to get another opportunity as a head coach. But the Raiders had tried the Patriots thing. In fact, they went full-out Patriots thing by hiring Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler to run their front office and have McDaniels as the head coach. And so they punt on that theory. And Vrabel isn't Belichick because he ran his own deal in Tennessee, which also would, if you're in New England and you think about it, you're like, why are they still sticking with former Belichick disciple? And it's all because of what Vrabel has done and did with his time at Tennessee. But, I mean, to think like, hey, we want the Patriot way, well, it doesn't seem to work if it's anybody but Bill Belichick. And the Raiders have already tried it and went to the max to do it. Had a partnership deal with Ziegler and Josh McDaniels, and it didn't work. So that would be interesting for Brady to try to bring that in. Again, my point is that Vrabel isn't like the others, but still the Raiders had tried this a couple of years ago and decided to let's move away from it. So let's have Antonio Pierce then take over the rest of the way. So
yeah, I think we all think it's Vrabel, okay? But again, if you're Tom Brady, and let's say Tom Brady does have a seat at the table, which he will in terms of discussion. Vrabel's got to be the first guy you suggest. Who else has he worked with that's had some sort of success around the NFL? That isn't Belichick. I don't think Bill O'Brien's the guy who's getting that job.
No. Worked with Byron Leftwich, who's interviewing with New England, I believe, today.
Yeah. Byron Leftwich was the name that I was thinking, but I don't know their relationship because Leftwich was let go. When was he let go by Tampa? Remember, Leftwich had that thing where he didn't want to work with the GM in Jacksonville, and that's why he took himself out of that one. So that was a weird one. Could Flores be the guy? I will tell you honestly, okay, and I haven't talked up. You guys know I'm friends with Tom Telesco. Haven't talked with Tom since all this stuff went down. I do know that Telesco was really impressed by Brian Flores. He interviewed him with the Chargers several hires ago. I don't remember which hire it was. It was when he had not maybe been a coordinator for a year or hadn't been a coordinator yet, but he hired him. But he was like, he was the first one to tell me, like, that dude's going to be a head coach. He's like, he's not ready for this one, but that dude's going to be a head coach probably in a year or two. And so I would say that guy, that's the one that you might think of. That's the one you might think.